Hello and welcome to Kitchen Counter Crafts. If you like this video, would you please like, comment, share, and subscribe? Also, if you'd like to be notified of new videos, would you please hit the bell icon? For today, we're going to continue on with staggered, layered envelope journals. And these you can actually use for bullet journals as well. I forgot to mention that in the previous one where I was just introducing what I was doing with the stack of letters that is on my kitchen counter. And so all you have to do is just put elastic here and then you can change out the insides. So in another video that I just did, I have just flip throughs of a bunch of different layered, staggered, stacked journals, junk journals. And then I wanted to do one, so I'm going to put these aside. There we go. I wanted to do one for Valentine's Day. And so if you want to check out the first video where I talk about how I pick the envelopes out, then that will hopefully add a little bit of method to the madness of just having a big old stack of envelopes. So I just went ahead and just chose one. And this one I just did recently, and it's going to be mailed out to a friend, actually to one of the viewers in Kansas. So I'm excited to send this out to her. And I'm just going to run through it. There's a little bit of wire with a soda tab because I put this here just as a little kind of a thing. I don't know why I just kind of set it there, but then it kept popping up. So that was a good way to close it. And then this is the flap that goes to this envelope here. So we have this envelope and this envelope, that's 2. There's one inside, that's 3. So this is a 3 envelope folio. And so I'd like to make something like this, but I didn't realize I went ahead and have 4 of them already in here. So we're going to have this one look just a tad bit different. And that's okay, right? Totally okay. So I just have some goodies in here that are just really cute. So hopefully I'll get a chance to do this one now kind of to make it look like this one, but I do have to point this one out. This has a flap because the glassine window ended up on the inside. This one ended up on the inside. So I did like the bullet journal type of a thing where I just made this really skinny, very cute with origami paper and a doily on the top. So kind of tone on tone, but that one goes in there so you can see it. This little thing comes up. There's a pocket in here and a pocket in here and another little journal in here. I love these little mini journals. You can just whip these out really fast. So we're gonna do one of those also. And then I didn't know what to do with this because I had put several pieces of paper on it. And so it became my place to do an enclosure. And the way you close this up, I just kind of come up with this stuff, really, because I have all these soda pop tabs that I need to do something with. So, you know, I've got to justify my little squirreling away type of things. So anyway, all right, so I did that just a little bit different. That's fine. The whole point is that I've got an eyelet here, right there, and then a pop tab there and just a little charm and nothing really in the back other than I wrote out a psalm about love, so steadfast love. And then I talked about the little stamps that that this ministry uses, so very sweet. And all right, so let's get started. I had to pause there for a second because I didn't know what I was doing next. Do you ever do that? Just kind of blank out for a second? I've been doing that, just walking into the closet and then going, what was I here for? So I have this super pinkish, very thick, kind of handmade paper stuff. I'm positive I got it from Hobby Lobby. I bought it because it was really pretty. Then I did not know what to do with it. So that's the time to use some of these, just the thicker papers to kind of line up and line out your things, your envelopes here if you want. If it's too much pink, I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. I don't know. I kind of like the texture, but gosh, is it just too much pink? Eee, that's lots. Like, it's just reminding me of Pepto-Bismol. So we might not do that unless I have a stomach ache. I don't know. All right. So what do I have here? I have a bunch of pinks and Valentine's-ish papers. And one of the things I do is I try to stack colors together as I use them. And then I try to also just kind of stagger them so I can see what I have going on and this is just the 12 by 12. And then I have a ream of paper that I bought that was pinks. So I use those quite a bit for journals. And that's it. So I really don't have any kind of an idea as to what this is going to look like. This one already had the back of the thing, and then I put this on this, and I really do like the way that looks. So let's go for that, because I have a bunch of this, 500 sheets to be exact, well, minus about, I don't know, probably 50-ish. So let's use my papers and go from there. All right, so I could wrap this around. I think I might do that. All right, so then that way it'll be like a running theme. And really that's kind of cheating, because it's going to be a super fast way of covering a lot of surface on this junk journal. So I'm going to do that. And I know it looks boring right now, but I'm going to just put this down as a base and then get other papers on there after. So all I'm doing right now is just folding it up on here so that is not even, but you know how that goes. All right, let's see how I can get this even. Come on. There, that looks pretty even-ish. I might not have glued this exactly correctly. That's a big shocker, I know. All right, so you're probably wondering, well, what happened to your glassine window? So, one of the things I did on that other one, oh, there's a glassine there too. Wow, I've got two now. All right, so one of the things I did was I just kind of held this up to the light to see where the glassine was. And I'm gonna do that here. You probably can't see that. I can't see that, it's too dark. So I'm gonna hold this up to the light and I'll be right back. So I held this up to the light, and because I have a glassine window here and then one here that you can actually see, I marked them up with a pen. And what I ended up doing was, this was right at the edge like that. So I'm not gonna cut the top part, I'm just gonna cut up and around, and then this one. And let me show you a way that I do that. And that's just with a paper trimmer. And I'm gonna just zero in a little bit here. So what you want to do, maybe you can see now, there we go. My line is in the middle. And so I just kind of center it over here so that this kind of comes up. Now I have a mark there and one here, and that's what I'm trying to do. On here, you can kind of see there's like a little beak thing, and many of the paper trimmers have that. Let me show you. See it? It's got a little tiny edge to it. And so you don't have to get it exact, which I never do, but you want to get it to as close as you can to the spot there. And then before, I was just kind of cutting around with a pair of scissors. And I know there's like pencil marks here, but don't worry about those because you're covering all this up with other scrapbook papers too. So not to worry, not to worry. I should probably straighten that up. There we go. All right, so you want to line that up again with your little tabby part and then come here. Now don't go all the way down because you're going to cut all the way through. And then bring your paper in. Yikes. Oh, yeah, you're going to have to like lift that up and not like lift it up, but you're going to actually have to lift it up and then cut and then lift that up again. So look, ta-da! I was trying to do this with my X-Acto knife. Not the best idea. So this is how I made that flap in the other journal. You just kind of flip it like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here on this one. And as you can tell, my lines are just horrible. So I'm gonna just kind of do this and hope for the best, because if it's off, you have scrapbook paper and you can cover it. I know, so wonderful. Okie dokie. One more cut. Okay, so on this one, I didn't quite get it all the way down. No big deal. And pretty close to this side here. Just gonna pop that. And then that's when you can come in with your handy dandy scissors and just, there we go. There's one, and then there's the other. I may cut that, and I may not, I don't know yet. Let's zoom back out. All right. So now that I have this, it should fit quite well on these two spots so that you can see the window. Yay. Yeah, pretty darn good. All right, so I'm gonna glue all this down, and the way I'm gluing this, by the way, so I'm gonna be using 3 types of glue. Fabrifix for the harder stuff, like, or even fabrics and cardboard. I kind of use that for that. For this, I'm just gonna glue this down and smear it with my fingers, which is very school glue-ish and like a kid. So what I do, let me just show you real quick, is I actually just kind of work fast. I know you probably don't need me to show you how to glue, but you know, there we go. So literally I use my fingers to just kind of come in here. So the school glue is actually a very wet glue, so you're gonna have to just kind of let it sit here and dry. But what you can do when you're smearing it around is that you're creating a fairly thin layer. Yes, I could Mod Podge, but I'm too lazy to do that. I could make my own Mod Podge, which I have done before, and then I forget to either cap it or do something with it, and then it just dries up, and then I have to throw it all away. So I just kind of leave it and do this because it's not that expensive. So anyway, and if you decide you want to make your own Mod Podge and use the Mod Podge, you can do that. That's perfectly acceptable. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. So I just do this, and then I have a very wonderful tool to smooth it all out with. Just like that. So I'm going to do the other side. All right, so not only did I glue this down, but I also glued inside a little bit here, a little bit here, and here. Okay, and I have to tell you, if you have multiple windows, just be careful and don't glue one side down versus the other. Look at what I did. Totally wrecked this. So I had to rip it off, and then there's like a tear here that you can't tell now. And all of this is really wrinkly and weird, but it doesn't matter again because we're covering much of it up with other papers. So speaking of covering other papers, I just wanted to show you. So this is a part of the cover that I wrapped around and glued, but I waited to glue that so that I put this down and then I glued that. Then there's a little square left. So I just kind of patched that up. See how that square is left? And so what I do is I try to tear a little bit longer on the side. So this is gonna now get glued down here. And then this section's left, so that's gonna go here, but not all the way up because I have this. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna just glue some of these things while I have you here. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that this is the other glue that I have, just a Elmer's glue stick. And it doesn't matter one way or the other what you're using, although the glue stick just does not seem to hold all that well, and I just find myself kind of getting in the corners a little bit more. There we go. And here, but it does give me a little bit more, you know, like just this area here. So I guess I could do it with just the regular school glue, but I don't want to. So let's see. I just folded that back down and I'm off screen here. Yikes. Tear. Gosh, it's not really thick paper either, but you would think the way I'm having problems tearing it that it was. Okay. So just gluing this up and trying to not get that window glued up. And I may just cut that because it's actually really annoying. Okay, guess what? It's gonna go bye-bye now. There we go, all done. And so now I had this little strip on the top because we glued that over. So this one is on top because there's a little square here. And there we go. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, like a quilting patchwork type of a thing if you are into that. Okay, and then when I did the back, I also overlapped it here. There's a tiny little square that's left. I left this piece so that it will go up here. And what I may do actually is add another thing and make it into a pocket. So let me do that, because if I don't do that now, I'm gonna end up gluing this down and then I'll probably cry. Will I cry about that? Unless I put this down. That's kind of cute. All right. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and glue this on there. And then that way, if I decide to glue it down, I can. And if I don't, then we're good. I don't want to glue that to that piece. There we go. And I kind of want that jagged edge down here. But I am also raising this up a little bit more so that if I decide to do a pocket, it'll have a little bit more like height to it. So yes, it's at an angle. That's okay. That is just fine with me. So we'll decide what to do with this in just a bit. So this is the way I work. I just kind of start layering pieces and stuff. And I'm keeping these fairly bland because it's going to get a bunch of stuff in there, and I'll just kind of work that out. Okay. So in the other video where I'm picking out envelopes, one of the things to notice is that this is a Hallmark card, and it was a Christmas card that we received. So we opened it this way, you know, up on the top, ripped a little bit. And then I wanted to use it though, because it was a good size. So what I did is I just took, you know, like you get like letters in the mail. So I just kind of put that in here as a hinge. And what I'm going to do is I want to remember that this is the side of my pockets because I reinforced this side of it. So I'm going to grab my hole punch here. And I'm just trying to find the center here. And then I'm going to just make a little notch. I'm going to do it so you can see. There we go. So kind of like that. Is that a center? Looks good. So just kind of halfway. And it's really to remind me what I'm doing. So there we go. So now I've got a little pocket, but this is going to go in, and then it's going to be a pocket like this because I want this to be like a book where open it up, almost like pages. But the center I have grand plans for. I'm going to put my kind of bullet journal thingy here. So I want this pocket to be like this, which means this hinge gets glued to the top of this. You'll see what I mean. And I'm going to use my school glue for this one because I really want to make sure. Yes. Ooh, almost got it mixed up. No, I did get it mixed up. Yeah, that's okay. Welcome to my crafting. This is how it goes, where I get stuff just kind of mixed up here and there, and that's okay. You know why? Because we have paper. Ta-da! I'm just going to put this here because otherwise, normally if I mess up or get it mixed up or whatever, it's no big deal, and I just kind of let it dry because it's glue. But in this case, I'm just going to make the hinge a little bit more sturdy. So, okay. So now this part's going to get stuck up. There we go. All good things, all good things. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to lift that up so that, my fingers are gluey. And what I'm going to also do, by the way, is try to make sure this is, oh, well, I kind of want it here equal to this one, but it doesn't have to be because it's much smaller than the other one. All right, now I'm just going to press it down. And now you can see this is my pocket. And actually that worked out great because that gives this just a tad bit more support. Look, I just have to tell you, whenever I mess up, it just does better for me. It just goes better for me because that is going to give this some extra support. Yes, great. I didn't even plan that. That just happened that way. All right, so what I don't want to do though is get that piece up there because it'll glue to the other side of the envelope. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. You don't want that being glued to that envelope. So I'm going to just come in here and just snip that. All right. I hope that made some sort of sense. So basically all you're doing is creating a hinge for this envelope because it did not have anything sticking to it. Now you've got a pocket in here. You do not have a pocket here. And a lot of times I'll just use like a little bit of washi tape. I think I might do that now. Let's see. Washi. I have a little thing here of some washies since we're doing flowers. Don't know. This one's calling out my name, so we'll go with this one. It's like little maps. I can find the starting point. There it is. I've used this before. You'd think it would have a little starter point. Okay, and I don't know about you, but my washi doesn't really stick all that great. Sometimes it just, I mean, it adheres, but then it kind of pops up. So that's another place where your glue stick is good. And all I'm doing this for is just to remind myself that I don't have a pocket on this side. And plus it gives it a little bit of a little something something extra. There we go. There we go. Not bad. Okay, so otherwise I'll be going like this, and I've actually ripped my envelope just because I have like short-term memory loss and I just forget. Now this glue is really great for spots that you miss, like right here. Look at this horrible gluing job. So you can just kind of put a little bead in there and squish it down, because it's got this tiny little nozzle which is kind of crusted over for me. There we go. And I couldn't find this little pin, so I just put a little bit of lace or a lot of lace on there so I could even find the bottle. So that's why the lace is on the top. All right, so what am I doing now? On this side, I like the white, but I don't really want it white. So I made my own glitter sprays in another video, and you can see kind of where this is all congealed up. So you have to make sure you give it a really good shake. And then I am going to glitter this up. And I don't know if it's going to glitter or not, but I do like that it gives it a nice pink. Usually I do this over the sink, but for your viewing pleasure, it's just going to go this way and that way. Ooh, a big blob, so we'll just blob it on here. All right. So you probably want to let that dry, and I don't know what I'm doing here either, so I'm just going to spray the whole thing. Why not? Because that's easy. And this spray is super easy. You don't even have to buy glitter for it. If you even have some makeup that you don't want or aren't using, you can just use some of that in there. It's really pretty, especially if the makeup, oops, if it has mica on it. That went over there somewhere. All right. So I'm going to just let that dry, and then we'll be back. So while this is drying, what we're going to do is make the journal to go inside here. And I'm going to just put my example underneath. And there it is. Okay, so as I mentioned, I have a bunch of these pink sheets, but they're 8.5 by 11s, which is just regular copy paper size for the US. And I'm going to do this very scientifically, which is fold them in half lengthwise. Let me get that out of the way. All right. And go like that. And then in case this is your first video with me, it's not scientific at all. It's just ripping. All right. And then I just fold this whole stack in half. And yes, you should probably do it like separate them out. But why do that when you have a nice metal ruler? Here we go. And then I have some really pretty origami paper that I got from Daiso, which is a Japanese store in Texas. So I love origami paper. And I'm going to just kind of find a maybe not a halfway mark, just some sort of spots. to put that in. And then I like that one too. It has some pinks in it and maybe just a different color. Oops, that's way off on my fold. There we go. Very confusing. Butterflies are all flying in completely off directions. So I'm going to do one on the bottom, one towards the top, just to stagger it. There we go. So those are my kind of inside little spots. I do like having something in the middle, so let's see. You know what? I have some more flower paper. And it seems like it will do. And I don't really need the whole thing, so I'll just cut it here. I'm actually cutting it. I want the big piece, the small piece. All right. Maybe I want the big piece. Do the big piece. All right, so there's a big piece, and then this is something else, and then this could actually go with that. That'd be cute. I'll show you that later. Okay, and so now I have 3 pieces. I'm pretty good with that. All right, so the way I do this is I get my big ball of cotton. It's crochet cotton. I also love to crochet, but I use it for just cotton thread for this, and it's really nice and thick. And the way I do most of my journals just inside is a 3 punch. So I do a center, and that's kind of center-ish. And then I do a middle. And then I just eyeball these. One more. So there's 3. And I'm going to actually tie this on the outside. So I'm going to go into the middle. There we go. Hold on to your papers. And I'm just going to do a quick stitch. You go down. And what I do is I hold on to this thread here. And then that way it doesn't go up or over or any of that. And then, so I just kind of went around, and then you're going to go back in here. You can see it coming up. And then into this one. And then I give both of these a good tug, and I go in through the loop I made here, and now into this, and loop it around so you can tie it. And then I do one more tie on this side, and then I tie these 2 together, and then I'll cut it. And I double knot. Actually, I do a surgeon's knot, which is, okay, this is a normal knot. A surgeon's knot, you just loop it through again. That's it. Didn't know you needed to know how to do surgery in here, did ya? So just a surgeon's knot is a double loop at the end so that it holds it secure. So I have this, and then I'm gonna make little charms for this. And actually, I'm gonna use my, should I use my washi tape? Don't know. What should I do? Oh no! I forgot I was gonna use this paper. Ugh. Okay, I'll still use this paper. It'll be fine. So, actually, the paper looks a little crazy. You know what? I can put it on the, but then it's going to cover up my string, so I can put it on the edges. No, that's going to cover that up. All right, we're not using this paper for this right now. I'll use it for something else. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I want something on the ends here, though. Something fast and something easy. So that is going to be washi. Set this here. So I'm going to do a little rectangle. Whoop. And how much you're asking? Probably about 1 inch. And what I'm going to do is again put a little bit of glue on this. Can you see? No, you can't see it. I just put some glue on there. And then I'm just putting this string, it doesn't matter which way you do it. Maybe I need to do it this way. Make it longer. Can't see it. Sorry about that. And then just fold it over. So it's this cute little end piece. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. So put a little glue. And you don't have to put glue if you have a really nice sticky washi. My washi just tends to be wishy-washy. So I don't always know if it's going to stick or not stick or whatever. And I don't want it coming undone after because when I'm done. I just move on to the next project. And I don't want it falling apart, especially if I give it to somebody. That's just lame. So, all right. There it is. That looks really cute. Okay, I like that. I'm happy again. And I think to tie in the washi and to make people understand that this is the front of the book, I'm just going to do a strip of washi tape here as well. How much glue did I put down? There we go. Just like that. Okay. And then there's my little bullet journal. All right. And then I'm going to video part 2, and then we're going to start adding little pockets and other things into this journal. So until next time, just hang out. And if you haven't checked out my other video that shows you how to pick those envelopes, you might want to check that out. And I should have another video for you in the next day or so, and where we make pockets and cards and things like that, and also decorate the inside of this. So hopefully I can get this done in a part 1 and a part 2. So we'll see. And until next time, bye.